Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com, and I'm back today to show you about a few different styles of laser levels that you might be using in some of your renovation projects. So there's a lot of different brands, a lot of different styles, and a lot of different functions for what different ones will do. You can get really simple ones that just point straight lines, straight dots, like this particular one right here. This one here has a swivel base. It's magnetic on the end, so you can use it in a few different ways, but basically most of them, and I think you can probably see the little dot down on the table there. If I had a particular point on the floor and I wanted to transfer that completely plumb, maybe it's a wall or a pipe or a hole or whatever, I want to transfer it up to the ceiling, I line this up over the hole down here, and this laser would transfer that mark up to the ceiling or whatever I'm trying to mark. This particular one shoots 4 directions basically, but it only shoots a pinpoint. It doesn't shoot an actual line. So, you can shoot, actually I guess this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points. So it'll actually shoot five directions and 90-degree lines. So this point and that point are square to each other, and so on, all the different directions. If you kind of see it up here on the board. So you've got your point right there. So if you're trying to transfer actual pinpoint type locations, this is a good laser for that type of aspect. So that's one type. I'll just set that one a little bit out of the way. This one's a little bit more basic, and it basically just it's good if you want to hang some pictures or that sort of thing. It'll actually put a crosshair on the wall. Sorry, but I don't have it powered up right now. It was dead on us. So it's one of the more basic ones that we have sitting here. This is kind of the homeowner real basic one. It's probably like $20 or $30. Okay, so that's that one. Now all these lasers are going to have, especially these type, because they're a pendulum basically inside of there. So the laser mechanism is just hanging as a pendulum on some lines in there. So they've usually got a lockout system. This one's down here. This one was this sliding button on the side that locks it in place for transport and handling. This one, the lockout's on the top. They want to have that lockout locked in place so that when you're handling it or transporting or whatever, you aren't damaging the laser itself. But then when you're ready to use it, you've got it sitting, close to where you want. You're not going to be manhandling it too much. You'll unlock the pendulum, and then the laser will be functionable at that point. This one here, it's got a few more functions to it, and I'll just move it up here. So this one here does a lot of the same things that both of those other two combined will do. This one will give me my horizontal line, as you can see up here on the board. I've got a horizontal, I've got a plumb line, I've got actual crosshair. Maybe you're trying to hang some pictures even. So you could line this up with your picture frame, hang that first picture, and then measure over and or move it over or whatever you want to do to get all of them lined up on this level line or horizontal line, whatever you're trying to do. So that one has that function. This one also might be a little bit difficult for you to see. This one is chasing a line, right up vertical, right across the ceiling, and if we were not sitting on the table here, it would shoot it across the floor right to within close of the laser as well. And same thing with the side ones, and you're not going to see it in here because we've got too many lights on, but it's shooting a horizontal line from in front of it itself. It's going as far as it can right around anything that's in the way. So I don't know if I can actually kind of demo that here on the wall. So you can see here, make this a little brighter. You can see it's actually getting that horizontal line. Now it hit an obstruction and it turned the corner and it's going around. So it works really good for if you're leveling a ceiling, for instance, suspended ceiling. Coupled with this bracket here, makes this a very universal and useful tool. This bracket, the laser level itself will snap onto this swivel top here. The bracket itself has a magnetic side, it has a hole for mounting to the wall. There's actually a slot here if you had something that it could sit on. So you could mount this potentially up at your ceiling height, sorry. Mount this up at your ceiling height for, say, a drop ceiling, suspended ceiling. Put the laser in and it would shoot around just about the whole room except maybe the wall or the corner that it's directly mounted on. So you could hang your suspended ceiling parts and make sure it's deadly right on. Okay, so this one does that, and like I said, it has the functions, the pinpoint functions of the other one as well. So if I turn it here and change the setting, so at this setting I've actually got my lines as well. They're not really as bright here, but I've got my pinpoint there. This one's shooting out pinpoints, I believe, in 3 directions, this one. Okay, and they're always, as long as you've got that pendulum unlocked, they're level as well. Okay, so that's kind of the main features of that one. You can, once you have one, you're going to be able to do all kinds of crazy things you were using with a level and a plumb bob before. I'll just turn that off. So I should lock this before I handle it too much. Most of them are battery operated. Some of them are a combination. They might work off of normal, you know, AA's or AAA's, D batteries, that sort of thing. Some of the major manufacturers, major tool brands, they will have lasers that work with their cordless tool batteries. So if you got 18-volt tools or whatever, that battery will fit in there as well. Some of them also come with a cord, or you can buy a cord as an accessory if you actually have the luxury of being able to plug it in. But what makes these the best is they're so portable when they are battery operated. So we got that. Now something else I should just show you. Most of these smaller guys, they will come usually in a kit, and a lot of them will come with a pair of these kind of goofy looking glasses. But what these glasses are, they're not actually to protect your eyes from the laser, and that's something I should talk about. You don't want to set this up in a spot where you're blasting it right into your eyes. You want to kind of keep your eye direction away from any of these. These glasses aren't to protect your eyes from the laser, they're actually to enhance the view of the laser. So when you're wearing these glasses, and we'll just pass them over the lens of the camera here in a second, but when you're wearing these lenses, it'll really help enhance the visibility of the laser when you're looking. So you can see there how much sharper and brighter it appears as opposed to when you remove them here. Now it's still, in this situation, still nice and bright, but if you've got lots of light in the room you're working, or maybe you're working outside, those glasses will help a lot. Some of these lasers aren't that great outside because they aren't quite bright enough. There are green lasers that shoot a green colored line, and I don't have one and I've never used one, but they're supposed to be much easier to see, especially in poor conditions, which would be high light level conditions. Okay, so those are the basic ones. These types of lasers here are going to range, like I said, anywhere from like $30 to a couple $100, and there's all kinds of different brands of them out there. So they're fairly economical for the average person to own. If I was going to own one, I would go for this, because it's this type that does so many different functions, because it's just so much handier for the average person, and you're not restricted on what you can do with it as much. Now, when you get into the higher end type stuff, this is a rotary laser level. A lot of these can be used both horizontally and vertically, depending on the actual manufacturer. So this particular one is powered by batteries. Different models of it do have a cord or whatever, but this one's powered by D batteries. And this is a type of laser that you could use inside. Could use like on a small project, like a ceiling or whatever. But they really shine to use outside for laying out, heights for forms, let's say for if you're forming up a garage pad or a sidewalk or that sort of thing, or maybe you're trying to cut all your fence posts off or gazebo posts off at the same height. It really works well for that, and I'm going to demonstrate some of those functions here on this laser. So another accessory for this laser is a target. So the target itself is this piece here, and it actually senses the laser beam. So when it's passed in front of the laser beam and gets right on to the exact mark that is on here, which is the center of this target, and it comes to you can have the sound turn on, or you can just watch it on this little screen right here. It'll actually tell you when you've gotten level with the laser line, and then you can transfer marks or measurements with it. As opposed to just having the line shining around on the wall or on a tree or whatever. This one isn't that easy to see outside, but the combination of this with this makes it much more versatile. This one will shoot, I think, within a 1/4 inch accurate at 150 feet, I believe. And there's much more accurate ones than that, but it's pretty accurate for what most people are going to use. Now, attached to this target is this piece here, which if I just get it off, all this does is attach on the back here so that we can then use a rod, either a surveyor's rod or just any kind of stick or pipe or whatever that we need, and I'll show you what that's all about. If you weren't using a rod, like I said, you could still use this, get it lined up and transfer a mark. And on this particular one, it's got a mark on the side here. This is the actual where the detector measures the line at. So if I had that going, I move it around till it beeps the right way and indicates that I'm right at the right level of the laser, I could transfer that mark right around like that, and I'd know that that right there is my level line. Now I could come over here, do the same thing on the other side of the room, and know that those two lines are completely level to each other. Okay, so in combination, all this extra stuff just makes that laser that much more functionable and easy for one person to use. I'm just going to throw this back on here. Now the other thing, you can use this laser just sitting on something good and stable and flat and sturdy, just like it is sitting on this table. Or you can mount it on different types of tripods. This is just a small tripod. This actually is for one of those smaller lasers, but tripod there. If I come over here, this is more of a commercial type tripod, and most of these type of lasers are set up to work on here. So you just attach that. There's a mount in the bottom of the laser, and that bolt is attached to this tripod. Get your tripod sitting so it's pretty level. Depending on the quality of the laser, some of these are automatically leveling within a point. I mean, you want to have your base of your level or whatever you're setting it on pretty close, like to the eye, and it'll self-adjust and get leveled out on its own with the pendulum inside. So there's that type that's auto level. There's some that you've actually got some knobs or adjustments that you have to do to actually level it up, and there'll be a sight glass or a bubble level on it or something to get it completely level. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Okay, so mount this up. Typically a tripod like this has got adjustable legs, so if your ground is unlevel, you can adjust one leg or two legs or whatever you need to get the top base of this is pretty much as level as you need it to be. So that one's pretty good. I'm just going to turn this level on. This one takes a minute to self-level itself, and it's going to do some calibration there while it's going. So while it's doing that, I'm going to step back over here. I'm going to move a couple things out of the way. And what I'm going to kind of demonstrate is a couple things that this laser will do. Actually, sorry, I want to turn this because we're so close to it. I'm going to have to reset it. Because we were so close to it, I had one of these bars on this upper mount would have been almost in line with where we were shooting, so I wanted to turn it so it wouldn't interfere with what we were trying to do quite as bad. Okay, so I already showed you one of the uses where you can just use just the handheld target itself, get some marks around your fence, whatever you want to do. But what if you were trying to take a measurement of something like the bottom of this shelf way up here, and you wanted to transfer that height around to a couple other areas in the building or something like that. Well, to get your level stood up on something high enough and adjusted to get that height, you're going to just be a balancing act, and you're probably going to end up knocking the level over and damaging it. That's where this target with a rod or surveyor's stick or anything comes into play, because I can now turn this on and put my whatever I'm using for a stick up to the height I'm wanting to use, or down to the ground. It wouldn't really matter. Now I can bring this down until I get the indication that I'm getting close. Oops, I got the sound off. So I had the sound off. Here it's on. That slow beeping on most lasers is telling you that you need to raise up the target to get to the spot you're looking for. And if I go too high, that fast beep like that I think you can hear is telling me that I have to go down. So one person, even without visibly looking at this, can kind of tell what they need to do. You're wanting to hold your stick plumb and level, or plumb I should say, as much as you can. Slide this down till you get no beep. It's just a solid. If I can get it there. Right like that. Now I'm kind of awkward there. I'm going to tighten this clamp up. Just fine tune it a little bit there. So there we've got the solid indication, and it also, you probably can't see it, but it indicates on the screen here. I'm going to turn the sound off now. So now we know what that elevation is up there. Like I said, this could be the ground or up above you or whatever. But you can see our level line we were just using as a reference point. So now I can come over. Why don't I just step over? I think you can still see me here. If I go here, I'll turn the sound back on. Now you can see, actually this point of the shelf, it's indicating is a little bit lower than that little corner over there was. Now it's probably not too much. Well, it might be. So now if I wanted to transfer that mark or whatever, or know the difference, we know that before, right there on the stick was the elevation back there. I can slide this up to where it is there, mark that elevation. If I wanted to know the difference, all I have to do now is take this off, take a tape measure and measure that difference. And I know how much difference, like maybe I'm looking for a slope on that shelf, which I'm not, but it's obviously not level. And it's out by about 3/8 of an inch by the look of it. And like I said, if you're just transferring a point, that's fine. You could transfer that point, or you know, maybe those were posts I was trying to cut them off to the same height. Okay, so that works really well for that. I can actually, and this laser's not as easy to see, you might be able to actually see that line it's creating. No, maybe with the glasses. Sure. We'll just try putting the glasses in front of the lens. Maybe you can see it here now. So you can see it a little better there now. So what it is, as that rotates, it's actually creating a line all the way around this building that we're inside right now that you could use as a visual reference or use that target to find. Now most of them you can stop that. You can actually stop this from spinning as well. So if I wanted to find certain spots, I've just slowed it down right now. You can actually, sorry cameraman, but you can actually see that line a little bit better there now. It's slowing down, you can see the point coming around. And as I sped it up, it just makes a more solid line, because all this is inside this head. The better lasers are going to have at least 2 actual laser points in there. And so you're getting 2 lines. It'll just give you a better line. I believe this one's actually only 1 that's going around. You get a brighter line if you've got 2 actual spots spinning. But anyways, that's how that type of laser works. It's really good for laying out bigger projects where you need a little more range or whatever, where these ones are a lot better, you know, on the inside of the building, setting up walls, or I use it a lot even just for if I'm drilling through studs to put wiring in, call me OCD, but I like to have the wires pretty level. So I'll even shoot a stud around, or a line around the room, just a level line when I go to drill all my holes through the studs, just to keep the wires all running nice and looking good. So that's the basics on laser levels. I'm just going to turn this off. I don't think there's really anything else I can really tell you. Most of them have pretty good manuals or information online because every one operates just a little slightly different, and there is a lot of different brands and price points too. Laser, more like that blue and gray one that we were just using, the rotary, that particular one is still a fairly inexpensive one for the rotaries. That one's probably around 800 bucks. But for most people, I mean, even myself, for what I need it for, it works well. There's other ones. There's some that on this target, it's actually remote control as well. So you can operate all of the functions of the head from here. So if I'm 50 feet away, I don't need somebody standing there doing anything. I can do it all right from here. I can shut it off, everything. So those ones, you know, you're getting up over $1,000 for sure, for the more functions or the more luxuries you want on it. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight on whether maybe you know, one of these types of lasers would be something that you want to put in your toolbox. I would suggest if you're going to do a fair bit of renovations that this is something that you're going to use and you're going to find uses for as you have it. So it really eliminates having to have a level in your hand all the time. You can use it a lot just for plumbing walls up or studs or anything. So anyways, just wanted to give you a little bit of lowdown on how these operate, some of their functions, so you could have an idea whether it might be worth it for you. If you have any questions about this video or any of our other videos, you can check us out on our forum. You can check us out, we've got Facebook, Patreon campaign, all that social media stuff. You'll find us there. Check it out.